Today the trekkers are taking you straight to the moon. Well, not really. We're actually going to David's backyard to watch the moon do something very special. I'm David.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Alfonso.
And we're Virginia trekkers. And it's 3 in the morning and we're here at my backyard.
We're celebrating the winter solstice, where it's the shortest day of the year, longest night of the year.
You might be wondering, why are you standing in Dave's backyard at 3 in the morning? And we're here watching a lunar eclipse. The shadow of the Earth is getting ready to cover up our moon. So if you want to keep on trekking and learn about lunar eclipses, and spend some time with us at 3 in the morning, then let's go trekking.
Let's go!
Let's go.
Alright, so here's early in the evening, and you can see behind me it's a full moon. It's very important for you to realize that it's a full moon tonight. Otherwise, when you see the pictures of the way the moon looks later, you're going to think it's just a crescent moon or new moon. But it actually started out the evening as a full moon, and then the shadow of the Earth is going to pass over it. It's going to be awesome. And I have a nice spread here for the eclipse party, if I do say so myself, thanks to my wonderful wife. We have donuts, nutritious food. We have some hot apple cider, some hot chocolate, marshmallows, popping some popcorn. And now let's go outside. We have the fire going on the grill. And we're taking some time-lapse photos of the moon. It's kind of foggy, but you can see there's the Earth's shadow going in front of it. Unfortunately, the ProScope software on our computers didn't do too well with the time-lapse photography. So I did manage to capture a few pictures with my HD camera. Here you can see the shadow moving across the surface of the full moon, and you can also see how it turns the moon a little bit red. But the best footage I found of the lunar eclipse was on YouTube, of course, so sit back and enjoy this wonderful view of the lunar eclipse at the winter solstice.
Alright, so what's the science behind a lunar eclipse? A lunar eclipse, the one that's taking place tonight, is the sun, the earth, and the moon are lining up. So let's pretend that the wall on the light on the side of Dave's house is the sun. I'll be the moon. And here comes Alfonso. He will be playing the earth this evening. So what's happening is the sun, the earth, and the moon are lining up. Right now is what we're seeing, and that makes our red moon. The sun is not moving. It's the earth and the moon that are moving. So Alfonso just keep moving off, and pretty soon here the moon will start to reappear. It will no longer be red. It'll just be the regular old moon made out of green cheese.
Now, one thing that's very special about this eclipse tonight is that it's occurring on the winter solstice, and that has only happened once in the past 2,000 years. So it's a once in a multi-lifetime opportunity, and we're sharing it with you. So it takes a lot to get the sun, the earth, and the moon to all line up to make a lunar eclipse. And that's because the moon is going around the earth, and the earth is going around the sun. And the earth is tilted, so when it's tilted toward the sun, we're having summer in the northern hemisphere, and the summer solstice is called the longest day. When it's on the other side, and the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, we're having winter, and the winter solstice is the longest night of the year. And that usually occurs around December 21st, like today. So what's happening is the moon is going to the shadow of the earth, and when it's totally in the shadow, it turns a reddish color. And then it goes out of the shadow later on in the night. Now you may be wondering why the moon is red during a lunar eclipse. Well, the sun is behind the earth, and just a little bit of light is forming a ring of light around the very edge of the earth. And that ring of light is kind of a yellow, it's kind of a reddish orangish color because it's the sunrises and the sunsets all around the earth. And that red and orange color is shining on the moon. And if you were on the moon right now, you'd see a reddish ring around the earth. Yeah, that's cool. It's really good right now. I'm not sure I explained that very well, so let's try it this way. You know that the sun makes shadows. Well, it even makes a shadow of the earth in space. And you know when the sun sets, it turns the sky an orangey color. So here's what's happening from the moon's perspective. The earth has an atmosphere around it, So when it blocks the sun, it not only makes a shadow, but the atmosphere is glowing orange from the sunsets and sunrises.
So real quick, boys and girls, did you know that because folks did not really know what was going on, you could probably imagine there was a lot of myths. And one of the myths in China was that a dragon was taking a large bite out of the moon. Well, we know that's not true, but in their eyes it was. So they would make lots of noise, bang things, to try to make tons of noise to scare it away. So that's what we're about to do right now. And maybe wake up some neighbors.
In Iraq, they have a story of a whale eating the moon during a lunar eclipse. And the ancient Mayan Indians of Mexico have a story of a serpent eating the moon during the lunar eclipse. And the Indians who used to live in the Andes Mountains of South America tell the tale of a puma eating the moon. But we know here in Virginia that the moon was actually eaten by Alfonso.
It's 3:30 in the morning. It's time for the trekkers to go to bed.
No matter what time it is, we hope that you were able to learn more about lunar eclipses.
And check out virginiatrekkers.com for more podcasts.
Keep on trekking.
And I made this big spread of food and nobody's eating any of it.
Because our mouths are frozen, our hinges in our jaw will not move.
Now, boys and girls, you should always be careful about what you put in a fire and make sure it's safe. Like that probably was not a good thing to put in the fire.
The moon is moving. The sun is not moving. Now let's do that again.
That's the one concept they got to get.
Yeah.
Now, you may be wondering why the moon turned blue.
Well, it's 3:30 in the morning, and it's time for the trekkers to turn in for the night.
Hope you learned a lot about lunar eclipses tonight.
And Dave just told me to say that, so I don't know what to say.
All right, you say that, and then I'll just say it, and stay tuned for more podcasts. All right, go again.
It's 3:30 in the morning, and I think it's time for the trekkers to go to bed.
We hope you learned a lot about solar eclipses.
Lunar eclipse.
Oh shoot! Lunar eclipses.
We're
That's
so
because
cold.
it's 3:30 in the morning. It is cold.